Chelsea 2, Fulham 0. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. By the way, hit like buttons, subscribe, and download the latest episode of the Top 6 show now on Spotify by scanning that QR code on the screen or clicking on the link below. And it was a very comfortable game. Very, very comfortable game for Chelsea indeed. Thiago Silva and Nkunku with the goals and a few standout performances both in the first and second half. And from my point of view, I'm looking at this Chelsea team and they are starting to cook nicely under Poch. There's great patterns. There's some really good movement. Some of the one-touch football in the attack is a far cry from some of the dross, the lukewarm, poor quality football that we saw from Chelsea on many, many occasions last season. Now, of course, we have to see this translate into Premier League football. I still believe this club needs to go and sign more players, Caicedo or a replacement. Let's talk about another goalkeeper coming in Sanchez. And we're gonna look at some of those transfer stories tomorrow on the Football Terrace and the Top 6 show. But overall, when you look at it, it's decent from Chelsea. And I've watched parts of their other preseason games. I watched the full 90 minutes tonight, as I promised the Chelsea fans who watch the Terrace that I would. And I do think this team is starting to show the green shoots of growth. There is a togetherness. You can see confidence seeping back into the teams. Now, I would have liked to have seen all of the first team in my eyes play together, but there was a few players that stood out to me tonight. I made a note of them in the game. First of all, Gusto at right back, really impressive performance, good on the ball, comfortable. I think there's a real genuine player in there. Chelsea have fallen off so regularly when Reece James has picked up injuries. Now, I'm not convinced that Reece James is over his injury woes. So having a player like Gusto who can come into the team is very, very important indeed. I liked Andre Santos in the middle. Again, very solid, technically very, very gifted indeed. Everybody knows I like Enzo. I thought he was impeccable in the first half, barring the missed chance and opportunity that he had. He probably should have scored. He'd be disappointed with that, in my opinion. But overall, a good performance from him. I actually thought Raheem Sterling didn't have too bad a first half. I've seen a lot of criticism of him recently. But Christopher Nkunku just stole the show in terms of the first half performance for me. And listen, good on the ball, can go left and right. And sometimes that sounds like a very basic thing to say, but being comfortable going left and right is important in the attack. It makes you less predictable, harder to mark, harder to manage, and of course, more of a terror for your opponents. But on top of that, his goal. Now, many will look at it just as a pure and simple tap-in. But as we spoke about many times last season on the Terrace about Erling Haaland, those tap-ins are not a fluke. And Nkunku busts the gut, sprints hard, works hard to be in a position where if the goalie parries the ball, if there's a deflection, if it rolls across that 6-yard box, he is there to put it in. And for me, Chelsea struggled massively when it came to those types of goals last season. They just weren't involved with them enough. Too regularly, they didn't have enough numbers in the box. People were not working hard enough to get themselves into those positions. Now, in terms of the second half, there's a few players there I want to talk about as well. Levi Colwill just looks like a Rolls Royce. And I can understand why Liverpool, I can understand why Brighton are also desperate to take him away from Chelsea, but Chelsea can't let this kid go. Now, I've not seen him play for Chelsea in the Premier League, but I watched him many times last year for Brighton. Top-class talent. Top-class talent. This is the player that if you were trying to buy him, you'd be getting charged £80 million in 2023. I believe he's that good. I was also really impressed in the second half. I know he's had a lot of praise already this summer, but with Nico Jackson. This guy is going to be a problem. Nico Jackson is going to be a problem for every single Premier League defense out there. He runs the channels. He is electric. He has a very good first touch. He's into play. Tonight looked excellent for me. There was a move fairly early in the second half. Great one-touch football between him and a couple of his teammates. Just offside. They didn't score a goal from it. But again, it's those some moments. He also makes run after run after run after run off the shoulder of a defender. So if you're playing a higher line against him, if you haven't got a defender with the speed of a Saliba marking him, he's going to strip you because he isn't just quick. He has brilliant. In football, top speed's important, but your acceleration over that first 5 to 10 yards is key to create some clear blue water between you and the defender around you or the opponent around you. And Jackson looks like a real star in the making. There's a rawness to him, and there was a few times he made mistakes. He should have used Hall on an overlap. There was a shot he snatched at with his right foot fairly late in the second half where I would have preferred to have seen him control the ball, look around, get his head up as an example. And he'll make mistakes because he's young. But you can see the real talent in him. And at 35 million, and I'm not even sure right now if that's pounds or euros. I have to go back and check. He looks like he could be a steal. And his hold-up play. I said a few years ago, and I know the long-standing Terrace viewers will remember this, when everybody was desperate for a Firmino-type striker. I said maybe what you need to be looking for is a number 9. Because football is very cyclical and it changes. Marauding fullbacks were all the rage 18 months plus, back 5 years. Now it's about having defensively solid midfielders. And if you're good on the ball, you might move into an inverted position in midfield. Number 9s were almost outlawed in the game. You had Harry Kane and you had Benzema and Lewandowski. They were a dying breed. And for a few years, nobody wanted one. Everybody wanted a fluid front three with a defensive-minded striker. That was what people were asking for. That's what the hipsters were trying to indoctrinate you into believing was needed. And now we have this new breed of number 9s coming through. Of course, Haaland is the shining beacon of them. Man United have just signed a young one in Rasmus Højlund. But Nico Jackson, it was a player. When Chelsea signed him, I was very honest. I was very, very honest indeed. I turned around and said, haven't read too much about him, don't know much about him, but I wanted to be respectful. I want to make sure I say this in the right way. I didn't want to turn around and say, yeah, I'm writing him off. He's going to be crap. Even when I read the scouting reports, I didn't read too much that stood out at me of he's going to be a star. That just goes to show you research only goes so far. You have to watch a player. You have to watch him in games. And there is a genuine star, a genuine diamond in the rough here with Jackson. Hold up play, speed, power, good ability on the ball. And he's shown an eye a couple of times on this preseason tour for Chelsea to be able to finish and put the ball into the back of the net. So there is a real player in there. There's no doubt about it at all. Now, we're having a few connection issues tonight with the internet. I don't know why. Normally it's brilliant at my house. Tonight, it's saying that your Wi-Fi is not secure. It's not even on Wi-Fi. It's plugged straight in. So maybe there's a twist somewhere in the lead. I'll go and sort that out at another time. But yeah, as I say, overall, Chelsea fans should be thoroughly. I don't know if they've got any more preseason games. I'm sure they've got 1 or 2 more. Most teams do. It's 2 weeks to the start of the Premier League, but it's been a good tour for them. I want to go to some of your comments that are coming through here. But our friendly should never have trophies. Yeah, I kind of hear you on that. I'm not really a big fan of that myself. While Chelsea are looking frightening, but let's all keep quiet. Yeah, look, I think Chelsea is starting to cook. What I think you'll see in the next 2 weeks is maybe, I assume, yeah, you guys have got a few more. You've got Dortmund left to play. What I would be asking for against Dortmund, and this is what I'm asking for my club, is you're almost picking the 11 that you think about starting for the first game of the season, and you give them 75 to 80 minutes, some of them even 90, just to see what they look like as a collective. But Chelsea are starting to brew together nicely. And Michia says Jackson's hold-up play is ridiculous. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's very, very good. Moose Wizard here says very cautiously optimistic. Jackson looks to be the real deal. Is it pronounced Mateson is a secret agent. Gusto is a smooth operator too. Yeah, look, I liked him at right back tonight. I really liked him at right back. I think there's a real player in there. Mish here also says Chelsea looks so different compared to last season. We can finally score goals. And you know what? Look, you've heard me say all summer, you should take encouragement from preseason games. But for Chelsea, I think this preseason's key. Last year, your fitness levels were too low. You were battered by teams like Arsenal. And it spilled over into your Premier League season. You need this preseason to build that confidence ahead of the new campaign. There's still work to do for Chelsea. I still don't believe they'll be the finished article. I don't see them in the title races next season. They've always got a chance of a domestic trophy. But I do believe as the season kicks on, they're going to become a stronger and stronger outfit. So there's a lot of work to do. They are cooking. The meal is not complete yet. They're at the early. They're at the prep stage right now. They're peeling the potatoes. They're soaking. They're cleaning the meat. They're soaking the veg. That's what they're doing right now. There's a bit of marinating going on. But green shoots of hope, 110%. Paula here says, I think Chelsea's new manager could not do it for Tottenham, and he will be the same with this team. I think Chelsea's owner, Todd, I think, go overboard spending and getting nothing out of players. We will see. It's a fair point about Poch, and I think most Chelsea fans share that concern as whether he can get over the line, but I hear you there. This year from Peter says, Poch changed his team's fitness, and with very young, talented players, the sky is the limit. Well, what you would say about having this young squad is that there's the possibility to develop it over the next 2 seasons, and then I think the average age is 22 years of age of this squad right now. That will probably rise with some more signings coming in. Of course, Axel has been signed today, or the agreement is done, which he'll come in. He's 25 years of age. He's an older player. So the age will rise, but there's so many young players. I'm intrigued to know who's going to go out on loan and who's going to stay. So that will give us a bit more of an idea of who Poch fancies the most. But he's going to turn some of these youngsters into absolute stars. Someone here says it's Fulham. Yeah, Ahmed, it is Fulham. But I saw Fulham outclass Chelsea last season. Outclass them in every single which way. It is still a test. Yes, they're not playing one of the biggest and best teams in the world, but it's a test. They've also played some other decent teams on this tournament, the Brightons of this world, and beat them. I thought they were very good in the first half against Newcastle the other day, who are a good team. Chelsea are starting to cook. I don't think that can be denied. All hope and prayers. Yeah, of course there's hope and prayers, and I think as fans, we all feel like that. But I think there's encouragement for Chelsea. There's no doubt. Santos looked good as well. Big up, Tel. Thank you, special one. Yeah, I thought he looked good. I still think you need that Caicedo level player coming in to really give you that extra star quality in the midfield, though. I think that's going to be key for you. Abdul here says Chelsea winning the league. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, just yet. Yes, with Lampard and Potter on the charge. Look, Fulham were a good team last season. Look where they finished. They were a very good and solid outfit last year. But what's important is to see that this Chelsea, not from my point of view, but from a Chelsea perspective, is for their fans to see this Chelsea team progressing, growing in confidence, knowing that they are moving forward from that disastrous campaign last year. So, yeah, look, I understand it's Fulham. And, I'm not sitting there saying they're going to cook and tear the league up next year. They're going to do a domestic treble. I'm just stating there's some positivity for them today. There's no doubt about it. Breaking news, Tottenham wants a loan in the friendly trophy for their trophy cabinet. There's always a bit of banter for Spurs on these streams, and I quite like it, really. Zulu Warrior here says, last 25 years, 2 Champions League, 5 Prems, 2 Europa, 1 Super Cup, 1 World Club, 4 FA Cups. Need I go on? Yeah, Chelsea are a big club, there's no doubt. Just need to start getting back into those title races. Have to start getting back into those title races. I know that's what Chelsea fans want. Terry, do I think Kepa's good enough? No. I don't think he's good enough. The club are stating you're going for a new number 2. You're looking at Sanchez. I think Sanchez could work his way into the first team. I think Kepa's a good goalkeeper. I don't think he's an elite goalkeeper. And when you look at the best teams in the world, typically they have an elite level goalkeeper. Do Chelsea scare you yet, Terry? Look, do you know what? I said it last year. Look, Chelsea are building something that I am worried about as a rival fan. And you all know that in some circumstances, I react to things in the short term, especially in terms of reviewing a game. Sometimes we can all be, I'm not professing to be above and beyond reactionary, and I can be at times. But sometimes you have to look at a situation from a long-term lens. And I've said since day one that if Bowley and Clearlake can spend like Roman, but create a long-term project like Man City have done, create an ethos and a style of football, a profile of player they need to make that work, and get that cooking, and continue to spend like Roman, as we've seen them do so far, Chelsea can become a very dangerous and potent team again. Chelsea from about 2014 have been on the decline. And we know that because in 7 years, they haven't challenged for a Premier League title. That's the ultimate barometer for where you sit. Yes, they've won trophies in that period, but it's become less and less frequent that they've challenged. The Champions League was an amazing achievement just 2 years ago. Well, I know you and most other Chelsea fans, Jim, saw that there was a decline and lots of cracks that needed to be fixed. I am fearful because of the level of investment that Chelsea are making, that if and when they get this right, and they're trying their best to look at getting rid of Christopher Vivell. I know the media is last mutual. We didn't know what he was doing. I believe they got rid of him because he hasn't done a good job. Now, no club's perfect. The best run clubs in the world will sign duds. They will employ some people that end up being a wrong fit. But the sign of a well-run club is someone that can rectify those mistakes quickly. Now, sometimes you can't turn a season around fast because the season lasts 10 months and it's ongoing and the window shut at certain times. But they've done everything in their power to rectify their early mistakes. What they haven't done, the Chelsea owners, is sit back and go, no, we're going to stick to what we know it as it's gone horribly wrong so far, but we're going to stick to doing exactly what's been failing. No, they've made big changes. And I think that should be something that Chelsea fans should be encouraged by. So when you say, am I scared yet? I am worried that Chelsea could go back to what they were from 2003 to 2012, 2013, winning the trophies, more of them, by the way, in that decade than the last one, but consistently in title races. Because what I really want as a Man United fan is for everybody but Man United to not be very good. That's ideally what I want. So, yeah, Chelsea, I think, are slowly on their way back. There's a long way to go, a lot of work to go, more support of the manager. It's not going to change overnight. This isn't you're turning an oil tanker around, not a speedboat, but there are some real green signs of improvement for Chelsea. This here from Being says, also, nobody is talking about Chelsea's small pitch. Poch will suffocate teams in the bridge. It's the away games he needs to adapt. Poch went unbeaten at home in the final White Hart Lane season at Spurs. Yeah, I remember that. I actually went to the Man United game that season, I believe. I think. It was a work thing. We got battered. Made me want to cry. Chelsea still need Caicedo and one more attacker. Yeah, I hear you on that. I think that makes sense. Chelsea FC here. It says Jackson looks so good and we bought him for 30 million euros. It was 30 million euros, was it? I couldn't quite remember the exact price. Yeah, he looks very good indeed. Very good indeed. And look, we have to see how it translates to the Premier League. I've seen Chelsea strikers. Remember, I'm old enough to remember when you signed Mutu and he looked so good at the start of his Chelsea career. He was scoring week in, week out in the beginning and faded. I've seen Tammy Abraham start a campaign and I think scored like 7 goals in his first 5-6 games. And we thought, oh, wow, what have Chelsea developed here? And that faded away. So I would say don't go over the top, but be encouraged by what you're seeing and just encourage the player to, like, with a well done, but keep working double hard because that's what will maintain him and get him better is hard work. That's all. The talent is there. Yeah, I know Mutu had other problems, but I'm just saying, I hear what you're saying, but I just remember, just wait and see. But I think there's real talent in there. I agree we have quality players. Let's sell Sterling. Running without clear vision is what Felix has got to say. Yeah, I didn't think he was too bad tonight, but I hear you. I don't know if he can ever get back to his best. What's worrying for Chelsea fans is the fact that they can't be any worse than last season. So any finish is better than last season would be considered an improvement. I still think they'll do better than 7th. Look, if Chelsea get the last remaining signings in and click, they could do better than that. They could do 6th. They could even do 5th. I think anything above 5th is going to be really hard for them with the competition they've got. But remember, top 5 gets you into the Champions League again straight away. And if they're straight back and they're in the Champions League straight away, there's going to be a lot of YouTubers looking very, very silly with the way they've spoke about Chelsea. Am I still Glazers out? Yes, I'll always be Glazers out. They may do some things that are good, i.e. they hire some of the correct people for the first time in a decade. But is it going to change my mind about them? I still want them to sell the football club. In fairness, they've done a number of good things over the last 17 years, but that doesn't mean you ignore the bad things they've done, their attitude towards the clubs, the way they've allowed the greatest stadium in the country to no longer be the greatest stadium in the country. It's dilapidated, it's rusting, it's leaking. All these things matter to me as a Man United fan, and spending money on players isn't enough. It just won't cut it for me for what I want from my owners. I've never denied that they haven't spent the club's money on players. What I've complained is that they've wasted it on previous rebuilds that have hemorrhaged money and not yielded the success they should, hired a lot of the wrong people in multiple departments, and they've let infrastructure of the club rot away. Now, I know that rivals don't care about any of that. Why would you? It's not your football club. But yes, I'm still Glazers out 110,000%. Chuka Mena, sorry. Yeah, him. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. Is it Chuka Mecca? Chuka Mecca is some player. Looks very good. Hopefully Chelsea doesn't ruin him. Yeah, he looked very, very talented today as well, to be fair. I'm glad you brought him up. I'm just terrible at pronouncing names. I'm not going to do predictions for the season just yet. I want to wait another couple of weeks, see who people sign. City are my favourites to win it. That hasn't changed as of right now, but I'll do them a little bit nearer to the start. Just call him Carney. Yeah, that's a little bit easier. That is definitely a little bit easier to say. But look, listen, people, short one from me today because I'm exhausted. I haven't been to sleep. I was out with the boys most of the night, watched the UFC and boxing, and then was up working straight after that. So I need to go and get a little bit of sleep before Man United's game at 2 a.m. Do me a big favor and hit the like button before you go. Please make sure you subscribe. Well done to Chelsea on your win tonight. But until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.